Today on Curiosity Kitten, we will be designing and cutting out pieces for a pinwheel block quilt. So stay tuned. Welcome to Curiosity Kitten, where I make videos attempting to demystify making. Arts, crafts, baking, and making in general. I do this by showing projects, including the setbacks, mistakes, and experimentation. Making things is not a perfect process. Errors will be made, but learning from the mistake and finding a solution is part of the fun. We'll be using these fabrics to make the quilt and have some internal batting. That is what makes it warm. And first we need to measure how much batting we have because I have leftover batting from another project. And so first I sit down on the ground and measure it against my legs to make sure I have enough. And then I put it on a measuring board to actually measure the length and width. I decide to double it up so that there's more warmth available inside the quilt, and determine that there's 34 inches by 42 inches of batting remaining. And then I need to determine whether I want the quilt to be square or a rectangle pattern. And I decide that a square quilt would be more fitting to the pattern because the pinwheels are square. In looking at the pinwheel pattern, I decided not to do an entire quilt of a bunch of pinwheel blocks, but rather to take that idea and make one giant block as the quilt. So that's what you will see me make. My initial intention for the lap quilt is that it would be for my car, and I can put it on my lap as I'm driving or if I'm sitting waiting on something. Now that we know how much batting we need for the inside of the quilt, now we need to cut the fabric. So this is the batting. On the right angle. These were not folded straight, so we'll try to straighten those out. Okay, get down. The final quilt will not be 34 inches, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So look at 17. And I have the folded side over here so that when I cut it, I'm getting double. So I have my handy dandy little Fiskars roll cutter. I don't even know what it's called. It's just a wheel cutter. So 17 inches, 17 inches. And we will go a little bit wide and cut that. I'll finish the cut even though we're not going to need that side of it, just so that I don't have to get the there. So now this will give us 4 triangles for our pinwheel, and I'll do another 17 by 17. So the first cut that we did gave us exactly 17 on that side, and then we'll get 17 on this side. A lot easier since we can line up the 17 over there and the 17 here. And then we will slice. And this is how people end up with scraps that they can use for other things. So here's this one. Then trying to decide whether I should cut it in half now. I will. And then put them back together and cut the diagonal. I'm cutting along the fold that was being used. Put them both back together. Okay, then we are going to put them square on the grid of the Fiskars cutter, and then we're just going to put the guide on one corner out to the other corner and use our blade, and this cuts our 45-degree angle, maybe, to give us our there we go, to give us our 4 triangles. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. And then we'll just repeat that with the other fabric, and then we will be ready to put everything together. I'll iron them first though. So I'll get everything cut and then I'll iron them, and then we'll come back to sew everything together. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos in the future, please hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like announcements of when a new video is available, ring the little bell. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I hope to see you next time on Curiosity Kitten, where I demystify making.